Hello, everyone. Nice to see you again today for this new installment of the MassAutomation news flash. As you know, every week, every Monday, actually, we do a quick news flash on the progress of our different roadmaps. And this time, we're going to present quickly where we are at with MassAutomation. So as you remember, there's a few milestones going on here. We are still on track. The idea of the milestone 1 was to enhance the existing autonomous smart contracts because we wanted to make sure that they have guaranteed execution and improve the tooling around it, showcase a recursive payment, the app, to show how it works, and to have the developers start working on it. So that's currently in progress. So the guaranteed execution smart contracts have made a big progress. I'm going to tell you a bit more about it. The tooling has been published and we have gathered a lot of feedback already. So the new version of the Massa Web 3, the wallet provider, everything has been updated, everything is working. So please test it again, tell us if you see any issues, and we're going to fix it. Then there is everything related to sorry, I had a little bug here. Oh, good. So then there's everything related to the product development. So this is going to be a second milestone where we're going to use basically what we have learned from trials, to define a real product that's going to respond to real needs in real life. And in the end, the goal is to grow all of that, to interface with other projects, with other ecosystems, and eventually to be able to have something that can automate Massa, but also automate other blockchains and become basically a competitor to Gelato, Chainlink automation, but more decentralized and cheaper. So that's kind of the whole roadmap. So what we have done so far, the code base for the autonomous smart contract with guaranteed execution is ready. Tooling has been also developed. This was missing before. We added metrics, and we are currently performing more LabNet testing. Also, the API is now stable. So that's an amazing news. It means that people who want to already try this new version of the autonomous smart contracts can now use this new version of the API in the gRPC. And by using them, they can already start building. So while we are finishing everything remaining there, people can already start building on the LabNet, and we're going to deploy this very soon on the BuildNet. So the idea is, once you start playing with it, you can give us feedback, you can tell us what's good, what's not, and we can improve that. So we are still reviewing the code base, the tooling, and the API. So it's a lot of work. It's a big change to the node, so it needs to be tested thoroughly. So we are currently testing it, and we're also writing examples for tooling, so you can already start playing with it. On the horizon, there's still some constant calibration. We are still doing this together with DUSA, because they're giving us feedback on the usability of the system and what they need. In terms of BuildNet deployment, it's something we are planning currently. So as soon as we're ready, we're going to deploy on BuildNet, and you can already start working with it. And versioning. So we need to, when we deploy, we need to smoothly transition the versions of the blockchain without breaking anything, without stopping the blockchain. And this is extremely sensitive, and that's something we are working on. Then we are working on the app for payments, and it's already working, actually. It's called Sintra, and the idea is that you can define who you want to pay with what token, at what interval, and you create a schedule, and it's going to happen. So that's kind of the idea. It has a tips mode and a vesting mode. So this allows you for the first time basically to send money in a recurrent way without having to resort to external systems. So this is to showcase our system. It's an open source example that developers can just fork and play with, and it's going to be published very soon. And finally, we have been hiring. So we did the first round of interviews with the first batch of candidates. We're still taking candidates, so feel free to contact us at info@massa.net. We are running a first round of technical tests as well. So this is also taking a lot of time and effort because hiring is complicated always. But feel free to contact us. We are still looking for new profiles, and yeah, send us everything we have, and we're gonna be glad to discuss with you. And that's it for this short update. And next week we are also going to do a short update, this time on the D web, and after that again on automation, and that's how we're gonna alternate. So feel free if you have any questions. If not, it's fine. The goal is for these meetings to be very short and to update you on the roadmap. And yeah, I hope you're as excited as we are on the next steps of the system. And so actually, I have a question here. By how much would Masa be cheaper than Gelato in terms of percentage? That's something we are still evaluating. It's very hard. It actually depends on the heavy use of the system. The more the system will be used, the more there's going to be fees. As long as the blocks, as long as the gas is not completely saturated, it can be close to free. Once we reach a point where the usage is extremely hard, people are going to have to compete for gas. So that's kind of the system. But for now, until a foreseeable future, it's going to be close to free. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. So feel free if you have any questions to send them on our forums. If you have any ideas, discuss with us. If you're interested to join Masa, send an email here. Oh, sorry. And another question: with EVM compatibility, is it possible to use Optimism stack used for Ethereum L2s? Okay. So the idea here is, as soon we are working in the background on EVM compatibility. It's not ready yet. As soon as it's ready, Masa will have two virtual machines, basically one which is the current one and one that will allow for slower programs, because unfortunately EVM does not allow us to scale as much as we do currently with Masa. So there's going to be a second slower virtual machine that's going to be EVM compatible. And the idea of this virtual machine would be to allow people to take existing programs from other EVM compatible stacks, port them to Masa to optimize them, to automate them. And so it's going to be able to use all existing EVM compatible stacks. But for now, we don't have layer 2s on Masa because we have a very high throughput blockchain. We don't need a layer 2 for now. So all in all, with EVM compatibility, it's going to be possible to use anything that works on an EVM, essentially, because we will have an EVM. So any tooling you can imagine that's compatible with EVM can be ported to Masa. Actually, not even ported, reused on Masa. The goal when we update our EVM to support autonomous smart contracts and stuff like that is to not add any OP codes, do not break the EVM itself, but basically piggyback these special features on some existing calls that exist already in EVM. For example, we can ask people to emit an event with a special prefix and then give some parameters. That could be a way to communicate with the special features of Masa from an EVM. So we are still exploring this. It's not final, but that's the idea. The idea is that you can use any tooling that exists elsewhere on Masa. Okay, if there is no other comments, we're gonna stop there.